Hi, Dumpster Divas. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And today I am joined by the premier Bravo recapper on YouTube. She hasn't been on the podcast since like the depths of the pandemic. I don't know what I was thinking, waiting so long for this. But she's here, and I'm so excited to have her. The one and only Brooke Ashley. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Tom. How are you? I'm happy to be back.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful.
Your star continues to rise in the YouTube world, and then you also are like, every time there's a Bravo event, Brooke is there. She is working the red carpet. She's sipping drinks with the dolls. What's it like to be you?
It feels really good to be me. It is a blessing. I am blessed. I have no complaints. Just happy to be doing what I love. And yeah, I don't take it for granted. I'm just thankful.
You do a great job at it too. You should be very proud of yourself, and you put in the hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean that. Well, I was saying this before we started recording, but listeners at home, by we I mean me. I am starting my journey into the YouTube world. Instagram. I've been doing an Instagram break. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I took the month of February off. Just because the world is one of a kind. And I'm like, I just can't doom scroll like that anymore. And I'm like, I need a place that I can interact with people still. I still want to make content, but also be able to promote content. Mm-hmm. And I see, our mutual friend Taria, she now lives in the YouTube space and does a great job over there. And, we have a lot of mutuals that are excelling over there. And I'm like, why am I not just doing that? Because
come on over.
Everyone seems a little bit better. You can curate your own algorithm over there,
Yes, you can.
Which I really appreciate, because I feel like sometimes I'm stuck in other people's algorithms on the other apps. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I can open YouTube and it can just be a slew of Bravo, Drag Race, Traders, and Hot Goss, and Brooke Ashley. Yes. So yeah, I'm starting. So for the listeners at home, every Thursday at 7 p.m., I will be doing a live over there. In addition or in replace of a recap during the week. This will just be an episode of the podcast, but I'll also release that as an additional episode, those lives. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Dumpster Dive Podcasts with Tom Hamlet on YouTube. And Brooke, we got to get you into a live recap over there eventually. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Enough plugging about me. Anything new with you?
Anything new with me? I'm still coming down from the high. I opened up Kempire's live show on Friday, like this past Friday. That was phenomenal. Just meeting everybody, seeing familiar faces. Mm-hmm. I had opened up for his last two shows, so doing it for a third time was phenomenal. So yeah, I'm still on cloud nine from that.
That's
so
amazing.
That was just so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I need to connect with Kempire, because Taria also has done open Kempire shows before too, and he's like the king of the content over there. So that's amazing.
He is killing it.
Crushing it. Where was that at? Was that Green Room 42? I saw
Yep, Green Room 42.
Okay, great.
Yep. Right there on 10th Avenue. A fabulous time. I mean, we just got right on into all the things, okay?
That's what we do.
Yes.
It's crazy we've never interacted in New York City before. We need to make that happen. I would love to
We do need to make that happen.
I would love to grab a drink with you and gossip about things maybe we can't talk about here on the pod when the red light is on. Well, let's get into the shows. Okay, so we're kind of in a transitional phase, probably. I feel like things are wrapping up. We're barreling towards exciting things.
Yes.
What did you in general think of the season of Potomac?
Ooh, Potomac. I feel like Potomac was off to a great start this season, right? Mm-hmm. I felt like the first 4 or 5 episodes were great. I thought that, the Lake Norman trip was really funny. That whole argument between Karen and Jacqueline. So I was like, okay, Potomac is in their bag. Everybody's getting along. They're able to navigate. But slowly but surely things fell off the rails. And we saw that some storylines were fraudulent, i.e. Stacey and TJ. A lot of people didn't have much going on, and trying to center an entire show or an entire season around Mia and this nonsense that she has going on, absolutely not. So I feel like Potomac quickly lost steam,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a very mid-season, but this reunion is a 10 out of 10.
It's so good. It like reminds
Yes.
me of like old Atlanta reunions, kind of
Yes.
like the energy. Like I feel like the Atlanta ladies delivered some mid seasons. I love
Yes.
Atlanta, but I feel like seasons like they had a couple in there where like they couldn't quite figure out what the season was, but the reunions were fantastic.
Yes.
Like the season where Nene came back, like with the all star cast with that amazing promo shoot where they were all in black. You know the
Yes,
season I'm
yes,
talking about.
yes.
I think it was season 10. Like the season itself, they couldn't quite figure out what we were fighting about ever.
Hmm.
And you're like, okay, I just like them all. But then like the reunion landed and it was so good because you get the ladies just on their toes interacting with each other. And I think a big part of why both that and this reunion worked so well and why it didn't work throughout the season is because like I feel like the women weren't filming as a unit all the time.
Hmm.
Like we weren't getting the full group dynamic. I feel like there was like a lot of scenes where like Stacy and Karen and Giselle and one other would go to lunch. And then Wendy and Eddie would go and talk about her YouTube show. And then Ashley would be with Uncle Lump.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right. And that was an
That's what,
episode. But like,
yeah.
I call me old fashioned, but like, I just kind of want scenes of everyone together all the time or your individual story. I don't need these like couple here, couple there. I'm like, I need the women like at a dinner table bouncing off of each other's like quips. And we're really getting that. And do you think that there's something about Karen not being there that's helping them at all? And I love
It's
Karen, but I it's weird that this is like their best reunion in years and she's not there.
okay. So that's funny because I was on Reality Rundown's IG Live last night,
Mm-hmm.
and that same question was asked. So I feel a bit torn because on one hand, had Karen come, it still would have been entertaining watching her squirm and lie because we know that Karen and the truth, she has a hard time telling it, right?
Yep.
But I do feel like maybe because she's not there, we're able to get down to the meat and potatoes of the actual other things going on, like this whole mess with Stacy, Mia's stuff. Because had Karen been there, the focus would have been on her.
Yep.
And we wouldn't be getting all this stuff now. So I think that maybe, yeah, Karen skipping out is giving a reason why the reunion is so good.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I said this on last week's episode, but sometimes the reunions without like how do I say this? When the center of the drama no shows to the reunion for outstanding like other circumstances, be it Luann being in rehab or like Kim Richards going to rehab or like Lisa Vanderpump skipping out on the reunion because of her inflated ego. Like
Mhm.
there's a couple of these situations, right? And the reunions end up being better because the women have the ability to talk freely behind her back. but like
That's true.
but like they can be like I don't do you think that they would be as candid about their thoughts on this situation if she was sitting there? I don't think they would. Like do you think Wendy would be like that's not my friend?
Yes, I think so. I think that there would be because remember the body cam footage.
Mhm.
That's so much fodder. That's so much to talk about just off of that alone. And it's like they could have all whacked her one by one and said, "Well, you lied," just
Yep.
just going down the line to whack Karen, several good times. And it
Mhm.
would be like, "Okay, you lied the whole entire season. You said that I'm going to be vindicated, and you're a fraud because we saw the footage. You were three sheets to the wind, completely just messed up, and for you to sit up here and lie to us." And not give us the truth. She said that a car came, on the other side and veered into her. Then she said that a deer jumped out. Then she said that the tree jumped out and got her. So it's just like with Karen, I do believe that they would have been very candid with her that she lied.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just
Hmm.
I think but if I was sitting across from her and seeing her watch her own body cam footage, seeing her talk about all the things she went through, I don't know that I could be so mean. Like even if like I felt that she needed to be checked, I think I would crumble under the pressure sitting across from the woman at her lowest of lows. I just don't know that I could go there.
But let's flip that, right?
Hmm.
Because if this were somebody else, she would be really nasty.
Yeah, you're
She had
right.
no mercy for Ashley and Michael. Ashley shouldn't have. Michael was a creep. She had no mercy for Juan and Robin, lying about their storyline with him cheating, getting the hotel room for that woman. She was on Robin's behind about how Robin lied. So I feel like it's not really, it's just kind of funny how when it's Karen's turn, now, it's like, oh, well, don't kick somebody when they're down. Karen has kicked people when they were at their lowest of moments too. And on top of that, the news just broke from the Washington Post that this wasn't even her second DUI. This was her fourth DUI.
Crazy.
Yes.
It's unacceptable. I
It
can't say it enough. Like there is nothing to me that's worse than like that. Like that you to have the wherewithal to just get behind a wheel not once but 4 times when you shouldn't have because you feel, like invincible is so deplorable to me. It's terrible. She should go to jail.
I agree. No, and her sentencing is tomorrow.
Oh, right, it is. So,
Yep.
by the time this comes out, we'll know. I think I don't, it's hard. Like, I don't want to wish jail. The prison system in this country is crazy. I don't want to wish that on anyone, but like, she needs to be tried and sentenced for the severity of the crimes,
Yeah.
whatever maybe we decide that is. Like, it needs to be the highest level of severity, in my opinion, whether that's like house arrest for like 5 years and she can't film on the show, but like just something where she can really, really think about these things because it's terrible. What do you think this video, we get a second, it seems we get I guess a third video of Karen in this next reunion. There's like there's a video where she says like farewell or something to everyone. Did you see that she doesn't say farewell, but she says like something at the end of the reunion. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that
It was in the
part.
preview for the next episode. At the very end, they said we have like a final message from Karen.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that could be. It said
Oh,
it was like the day before she left for rehab or something. Yeah, at the very end of the preview for the final reunion, it says like we have a final message from Karen the day before she left for rehab or something like that.
oh, I didn't catch that. I just see in the trailer where Ashley says that there was another man in the car.
Yes, yeah. No, it's like at the very last second, and Giselle says like, "Oh, I don't like that" or something like that. Like, and then they move quickly past it. Now let's dive into TJ. So of course, I'm annoyed that it ended without us really getting to the bottom of it. But for those that didn't watch it, Eddie and Greg, I can't. Is that his name, Greg?
Yep.
My Greg. When she says Greg, it is so funny to me, Kiarna. And I can't believe they're still together.
Kiarna sounds ridiculous.
When she's like, "Yeah, I'm getting a," she said, "I'm getting a pre-wedding investment," which is her getting her own place, or pre-engagement investment. I'm like, I guess that's one way to look at it, but like, I don't think this is gonna work out, babe.
No.
It is kind of sad that like she got her dream of getting on the Real Houses of Potomac, but at what odds? She got beat up before she
I
got
know.
there. I'm like, what odds do you want to achieve these dreams, Kiarna? And no wonder Greg is like, okay, but like I kind of get where he's coming from, right? Where he's like, he should support her being on the show.
Yes.
But I understand being hesitant at first to be like, you were on this show and this woman beat the shit out of you. Why do you want to go back around these ladies?
But there's a way to go about it though. Like
Yeah.
he just seems so irritated by her very existence. In all those scenes, he's just like looking at her like in a really like menacing way. Then he's just like cutting her off. He's dismissive when they went out to eat. And she's like, I feel like you don't support me. And she starts crying. And he doesn't even hand her a tissue. She has to ask him for a tissue, and then he's like, don't do all that crying stuff around me. It's like he would be gone. He would be gone.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's weird. I got sidetracked about Greg. Just hearing his name triggered me. No, but back to TJ. So Eddie FaceTimes TJ, and then TJ reveals something. They kind of edited around it for dramatic effect. Mm-hmm. And then Wendy at the very end of the episode says, "Oh my gosh, this is about TJ." We're assuming that this is that he was being paid to be there, correct? Okay. Now, how much do you think she was paying him?
Well, Stacey kind of gives me cheap and a little bit of broke.
Okay, well, you said it, not me.
Okay, well, no, if she's not broke, then she's cheap. But I think that maybe, and TJ, we know he's good and broke because every single date that they were on was free. We saw them at the gym. Talk about the zoo. The zoo in DC is free.
What can we talk about? That frightening scene of them with that Red Baron pizza and that Gatorade. Oh yeah,
that's what's gonna mention.
Gatorade split between the two of them and those wine glasses. It was one of the most jarring things I've ever seen.
I was floored, and that wasn't even Gatorade. That was a 25-cent hug drink from the corner store, and split that together. I said, "This is embarrassing that you, as a grown woman, as beautiful as you are, as well-to-do as you claim to be, this is the best that you could do for a man. This man is good and broke." Living on your couch, he obviously needs the camera time and he needs the gigs from, being on the show. Mm-hmm. And you're going to sit up there and say, this is my boyfriend, and he can't even take you out for dinner. He's putting in a Tombstone pizza for $6.99 and a 25-cent drink. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And, he's making money being there because she's paying him. He could have afforded to do a little something more. I mean, it was crazy to me. But then for him to FaceTime them, or for them to FaceTime TJ, and he says, I'm not going to be there for that fake ass show. Mm-hmm. Well, girl, you were fake on the show.
Yes, very much so.
Like, you made the show fake. The show's not fake for everyone. I mean, the argument that these shows are fake is always so confusing to me because I'm like, guys, people aren't good actors. Like, they can't just read off lines on a script as well as you think they could. Are the situations set up? Yes, because they have to create a show. Like, they have to force them to go on vacation together. So, like, yeah, I mean, if you want to call that fake, yes. But, like, the show isn't fake. Like, they're not reading a teleprompter.
No.
And he came across so terrible. It's crazy to me that he would diss this show in this way when it's like your behavior. There's a line. Who said this? Someone said, like, when people blame an edit, right? There has to be content to make an edit.
Yep.
And so the edit that they made may not be good. It may not look good on you, mm-hmm. but you still made the content.
Yes. Yes, they didn't pull that out of thin air.
No, they didn't pull you being a dick at Wendy's 40th birthday party out of thin air.
Exactly. And then for him to say, this fake ass show, well, I thought that you were this big devout Christian who didn't swear, you don't, have sex before marriage, you don't drink. I mean, he doesn't do anything, but yet now you're, this fake ass show with these fake ass folks. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right, TJ. So that was all a lie. I mean, I just think that he's a weirdo and he's a clout chaser, mm-hmm. and he definitely was on this show to get his name out there because the last gig that he had was on Sister Sister in 1999. And for him to say that he was, he said that he's 41. I'm like, sir, you were already 30 when that episode aired. I was only 9 years old when that episode aired. So you're telling me that you're only 7 years older? Like, stop. And 41 in dog years, because we know that he's at least 60, 61. I'll give him 58 at the youngest, so stop.
60 feels crazy to me. I think probably 50s. You think 60?
57. I'll give him 56.
Wait, where did he say he was 41? He said that somewhere?
He said he was 41.
No,
not in this lifetime or the next. He was 41 20 years ago.
Because how old are Tia and Tamara?
They were 45. So how is he 41?
Yeah, no, It's not.
Oh.
That's not right. Let's see. Anything else? I'm trying to think if there's any other moments at the reunion that kind of popped out to me. Oh, well, Mia of it all. I mean, the under the breath line that they put in, the women absolutely did not hear, was when Mia said that she got that, like, the paternity test was like that Daddy G was the father of the child.
Mhm.
And then I felt like the line about IVF was so quiet underneath that. Did you catch, girl, if it was IVF, you knew
Mhm.
what sperm was going into you.
But she said that. But and I said this in my recap. This whole storyline should have never even gotten past the front door, because at last year's reunion, when Gordon came out, she said, I know for a fact that Gordon is the father of Jeremiah because we had an IUI, so I know for a fact that Gordon is that's his father. So for her to now come back this season with this nonsense, I don't understand how production did not stop her and said, well, no, you already told us at the reunion in season 8 that you had an IUI, IVF, and that is the father. So we're not even going to do this. So I blame production for even allowing Mia to spin this whole lie when we already knew the truth back in season 8.
God, I forgot about that moment at the reunion. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just and I'm honestly really happy the ladies said what they said, because, like, what they kept driving home was, like, this is not, we don't want to be a part of this. Like, you are making your kids look bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not your behavior, the way you're just telling your kid's story. Like, you're telling
Yeah.
a story, you're telling an incorrect story at your kid's expense, you know?
Yep.
I just, it's upsetting. Like, the kids are gonna grow. The kids aren't that young either. It's like
No.
they could, in the next 2 years, have someone at school be like, "Hey, I heard that my mom said this, and this. Who's your dad?" You know, like, that's terrible.
And then that whole lie about they're in private homeschool as opposed to public homeschool. They're not even, like, what are we talking about here? They're not in homeschool. She had said they go to private school. They go to Catholic private school. So what is she talking about? The woman just lies so damn much. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know that she's one of those people that lies so much that rarely do the lies catch up to her. But then
Hmm.
I think this reunion was a moment where she got caught up in her own bullshit a little bit, because, like,
Hmm.
between the Miami thing where she's like, I'm a bad friend. It's like, well, yes. Yeah, you are. I don't know how it took you this long to recognize that. Just because there's cameras there.
I think it's funny that Andy was coddling her, in my opinion,
So
because
weird.
it was weird. I was like, why are we coddling her and saying, oh, you're not a bad person, and the fact that you feel ashamed shows that you care about people. I'm like, this woman has a history of being horrible. So why are we doing this? And I mean, I don't want to open up Pandora's box, but I feel like had this been somebody else, would he have ran to their rescue and coddled them, or no? Had Wendy done something like this, would he have ran to her dressing room and said, Wendy, it's okay. Like, dust yourself off, give yourself some grace? No, he would have been like, why would you do that? Like, who does that? In my opinion,
Yeah.
I just think that it's interesting that Andy can be very lenient on certain people who are actually the villains and the liars, but then he's hard on the people who are the victims,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
I completely agree. I co-sign that thought, because Wendy has gone through so much. And, Wendy, like, I go back and forth on Wendy, because I think when she's engaging with the group, it works really well. I
Mhm.
don't always I feel that sometimes she can stage things, like, with her
Yeah.
family, and, like,
Yes.
that's what I'm like,
No, I
you're
agree.
so fun
Yeah.
bantering with these ladies. Like, we don't need the like the storylines with Eddie and your family at the house. It feels like that feels scripted to me, right? But, like, she has forged ahead through so much shit on this show. These women have been so terrible to her over and
I
over again. And Mia gets one season where people are trying to suss out what's real and what's not and make her accountable, and she crumbles.
know.
It's like,
Hmm.
some of these ladies have been sitting through the worst shit. Sit there on the couch that you signed up to be on.
Yep.
And just take it. I'm sorry. Like, don't run away from it.
I agree.
The thing is, like, when these ladies sit and they're frustrated and they're like, I don't want to be there. I don't want to do this. This isn't what I signed up for. It's like, Mia, you brought these storylines to the table. No one like wanted to talk about this.
No.
You did it.
She did this to herself. And I said, Mia getting whacked by pretty much everybody in that last part of of the second part, it was beautiful because she has gotten to skate by for years. There was no accountability when her and Candace got into it in season 6. There was no accountability when she assaulted Wendy in season 7.
Yeah.
They just brushed over that. So I'm like, it's finally her time to get what she deserves. And she is now being held to the fire, and it is what it is. Suck it up, because you've gotten away with a lot.
Yep, agreed.
So I get so passionate because I cannot stand Mia.
I love your passion. I've all of your takes have been spot on with these ladies, so I appreciate it. Now, where are you with that with Miss Ashley? Because Ashley, for me, I have some thoughts on.
We probably have the same thoughts. I have never seen it for Ashley.
Okay, same. But
Ever.
then she feels necessary sometimes to me for some reason.
She does? Because if we're being honest, her storyline ended in season 5.
I know, but she does push story, just not her story. And then I can't the announcement about her divorce, like on Instagram. For those that didn't see it, she posted on Instagram her topless with a newspaper covering her titties in front of like an America's Next Top Model photo shoot wall. Didn't it look like an America's Next Top Model photo shoot? I was like, this is 2006. And Tyra said, okay, think what's red and white and what's black and white and red all over.
And it looks so cheaply done. So
cheap. It's clear that the like announcement was photoshopped onto the newspaper that she was holding. She clearly did it before the divorce. Like, the whole thing was so confusing. And I'm like, girl, we have been asking for you to leave that man since you walked on set.
Yep.
So I don't think you think it's the win. We are all just like, well, finally. Like,
it's about damn time.
Like,
the divorce took 84 years.
There were seasons airing in the pandemic where they were still together. Like, that, it's not that long ago that he hasn't been on the show.
No.
And he should have been off the show at season 1. It's crazy to me that it took this long for her to realize how terrible he was.
She knew. I think that she just wanted to get pop out a few kids to collect she's getting child support but no alimony. Which
feels crazy to me. Why not both?
I don't know. It just makes no sense.
Why does that? Because that means when granted, she is making money on the show and these kids are young. So like child support will go until they're 18. So that's still like good checks going till the kids are 18. But still, like, he has millions of dollars. Like, you should receive alimony just for having to be married to his ass.
Yeah, pain and suffering
for the rest of your life. Like that, I'm team that. I'm sorry. And then Stacey doing the opposite is really weird to me.
Yes, the alimony, but no child support. There's something there. Something in the milk is not clean pertaining to Stacey.
I agree.
And it has me wondering how successful is her ex-husband. Mm-hmm. I just have some questions because there's something off, and I'm not understanding why she would waive. She's waiving child support but gets alimony. Yes. It's just, it makes no sense to me. I have questions. Stacey's story does not add up.
Yeah, no aspects of it add up. And when she's sitting, it's so funny. She clearly has, the women are clearly annoyed with her because she has a persona.
Yep.
When the camera goes on.
Yep.
Because they're like, oh, you talk like that? Mm-hmm. You say these things? Because when we're filming, you just act dumb. You act like, just like, mama. She acts so like ditzy.
very ditzy, but very much a prude, very straight. Like, oh my gosh, like when they talk about sex, it's like, oh my goodness, like I never, like I don't talk like, oh goodness me, my virgin ears. Like I just, like I, stop,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Like, stop.
You know, like, because I went to acting school and I also did. You're like, oh God, where is this going?
No, no, I already know it's going to be a good story. That's why I'm laughing.
So I went to acting school. I also like have taken a lot of improv classes, and like a go-to whenever you get a scene or whenever you're like in improv where you're like have to pick a character to play. A character that's very like a top of mind character that people go to because it's just like an easy idea is like the ditzy girl or the ditzy guy. Like the like doesn't know what's what, doesn't know anything about the world, doesn't it's like a very top of mind persona to hit when you don't want to like maybe be authentic is kind of my point of all this. Like it's a very easy that's a very easy persona to play. Right? Like
Makes
because you
sense.
just kind of say no to everything. You're like, no, I don't know about that. No, I don't know about this. Right? It's like a very easy type of person to just pretend you are. But until you start saying, you know, curse words off camera and people hear you yelling in the back and then they're like, wait, who is Stacy?
But I mean, I think that that kind of persona is very easy to clock
Yeah, I
because
agree.
nobody's truly that. I mean, unless you like lived under a rock, nobody's that naive, especially not you're grown with a child. Stop. Um, Also, it's not lost on me that AJ in the finale when he came to visit her and he said, "Girl, who is this new Stacy? Because this is not the Stacy that used to run around with me in Chicago." And he was pretty much letting it be known, like to us, the audience, that like she's lying. This isn't her. This is some new. Because he said, you know, you're giving a Stepford wife. He said he kept saying, "Stacy, you need help." He was like, "Yo, you got this fake
I
man."
loved him.
Loved him.
Give him a
And you know
champagne
what's
flute.
and you know what's funny? He used to be my. I used to go to his hair salon when I lived in Chicago.
Oh,
So I went to
shut
Chicago. Yeah, for I went to school in Chicago, and I went to his hair salon.
shut up.
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow, he's
Yep.
fantastic. He was clocking her, and the gall. I cannot believe TJ, who was getting paid to be there by that lady, had the gall to be so nasty to him.
I
That
know.
was so weird. If it's all fake, why are you acting like that? Like that, I guess my brain starts to go places when you think about how fake it all was. It's like, well, then why be rude? Like if you're really getting paid to be there, like why be rude at Wendy's party? Why be rude to AJ was his name?
Hmm.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like if you're like Walter, for instance, on Atlanta, like this, that was our most concrete like comparison to
Yeah.
this. For those that may not know, Walter was the man that Kenya brought on to season 5, I believe,
Yep.
of the
Yep. Yep. Yep.
show, as her boyfriend that she wanted to become a fiance. It came out that he was literally a paid actor, that they would like
Yep.
literally set up all their scenes just so she could like pretend that she had a man. It's essentially what Stacey's done. But Walter didn't really get into the mess. He was just kind of there and just kind of like a non-entity. I don't know why he was so involved in stuff.
He wanted camera time
Yeah.
because, and it's funny because he got more camera time than some of the actual housewives.
Then
He got
Kiarna.
more camera time than Kiarna.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
yeah, and I think that the reason why he snapped at Wendy's birthday was because when she was filming with the girls, that means that he didn't get any camera time on him.
I did not even think about that.
Yeah, that's why he got mad. Like, don't touch me. Like, because he probably thought, okay, I'm gonna have a lot of fun at the party, but I'm gonna get a lot of camera time. And when she had to go off with the girls, he got mad. Like, oh my gosh, this is cutting into my time
Yeah.
to be seen and be out there. And that's why he got mad because he lost out on a lot of camera time. And then it's not lost on me when he said to Ray, they showed that clip where he says to Ray at the party, "Oh yeah, the QVC hosts make like they get a 50 grand bonus." And I'm thinking, if this man is supposed to be a rich man, Why is he so excited over a 50 grand bonus, and who even talks like that at a party?
Yeah,
Like, why are you
weird.
talking money with somebody that you just met? And it's just very off-putting. So I said, okay, this is all a game, and this man is good and broke.
Yep. Well, I think we've covered it on Potomac.
Yes.
You make me laugh because you're like so chill, but then you'll just be like, they're nasty, and I hope I never see him again. Moving on.
Tom, I'm screaming, okay?
That is how you talk about these ladies. You're like, I wish ill on them. I hope they never come back to my screen. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am in tears.
No, the season was bad of Potomac, or bad, not bad. I think it was just kind of fine, right? And
Yes.
but this reunion, like we said, is really bringing so much life. I feel that Bravo has lost a bit of the art of the reunion in the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be so good. And I
Yes.
think that between the women focusing so much on what they look like and the aesthetics and the topics and the receipts, like, we kind of lose the thread of what's fun about the reunions. And it's like when they're really riffing off of each other is where the fun is had. And this feels like a bit of a return to form to that setup. So I am having a good time with it.
That's a really good point. And to add to it, I think that a lot of it is because of Andy. Because I think that Andy has been so checked out and so bored at a lot of the reunions. And I think that as the host and the moderator, his moods kind of dictate the whole mood of the reunion of that day.
Yeah.
Because they're there for 13, 14 hours. And if he's bored, then that's going to rub off on the cast members, and they're going to feel like, well, why should I even say anything if he's already checked out? But I think that seeing Andy like return to form, like you said, he's funny, he's engaged, he was, riffing off of them, he was shading them when he threw that shade about Wendy and the Michelin Man suit dress.
Or what about when he said, Mia, you used to dress in business suits and now you wear fashion?
Yes. That was like, Andy's in it.
When he said, but your tagline was "Ink is forever," and they cut to Ashley, and she's. Thing is, Andy pisses me off. Okay, but he can be so shady, and I have to tip my hat to him. I mean, he's a legend of the art form. We cannot disrespect him in that way, but I think he's at his best with groups of women that he really vibes with, and you can tell he really vibes with this group,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like he does not vibe with the New Jersey ladies. He cannot stand their asses.
No, that's why there was no reunion.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to go. And right now, if he's not there, there's no reunion. Who could do a reunion instead of Andy? We have so many options, but like, who would you like to see if he took that step down?
I feel like one of the content creators. So, like, I mean, I think Kempire could do a great job.
Yeah.
Just so many people. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people who are fully just engaged and would ask the questions that we want to know. Like, sometimes it feels like a lot of, the ball was dropped. Like, on the SLC reunion, which was really mid. And that was so crazy because SLC was so good. So to have such a lame reunion, it was like a disappointment. But I felt like Andy dropped the ball on so many questions, especially when it came to Bronwyn and Todd. I feel like he just glossed over them and their nonsense. But yeah.
You know who I think would be fab is Ira Madison III. I think he would crush because he's really so good on his feet. He's very funny.
Yes.
And knows everything about the shows. Yep. The problem is, here's the problem, right? Is like if you hire someone like, someone else, Nina Parker would be amazing.
Yeah, she would be good.
Yeah. She used to do the Love and Hip Hop reunions, but the problem is you can't throw in like who's an example? You can't throw in just like a regular host who doesn't watch the shows. You kind of need a historian of like the genre, not just like Potomac, for instance, but like I think they just kind of need to have known about Real Housewives in general and have seen most of the shows, because like Andy has such a great, that's one strength that Andy has, right? Is like he can like quickly reference things of the past because he's he's seen raw footage of these people like doing crazy things, you know?
But there have been some times where I've questioned if he even watched the season, because there's some times where I feel like the reunion just was completely rushed and a lot of questions were not asked. And I said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just maybe watched the last 5 episodes at the end and then skipped the first 10, because there have been some seasons and some reunions where the ball was dropped.
Well, you know where he drops the ball constantly. I think that someone else should be there immediately is these Summer House reunions. Summer House has some really great drama, right, over the years, and I feel like he gives no energy to it. Like he doesn't really address it. Like I'm like, wait, but what are, like, for instance, last season I felt like the Sierra West situation only got like 20 minutes of screen time there at the end of the second episode or something like that. Kyle never has any sort of comeuppance about his behavior, which is crazy.
No.
Like,
Oh, I noticed that. Yeah,
they never talk about the things that he says. Like when he said the meanest shit about Amanda behind her back on camera, mic'd up, sitting at the dining room table, and then the reunion will come around and no one ever talks about it. I bet you he has not seen many of episodes of that. Well, let's talk about some other stuff. So what other Bravo shows are you up to date on watching, and or maybe the things that you're most liking watching?
Summer House.
Mm-hmm.
I love Summer House. I think that they're such an underrated gem.
Yeah.
This season so far, I'm loving it. I'm watching all the Housewives, Beverly Hills. How do you feel about that season with like Bose and Dorit's friendship?
Yeah, I so with Beverly Hills, I am liking it fine. Beverly Hills is not my favorite of the franchises in general. I watch every week, but like I think their golden age was like, seasons 1 through like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
and then like we get a good season every once in a while after that. Like the Erica Tom season was crazy. Like we'll get these pop-up seasons that are like fantastic after that. But I don't think they're as consistently good. This one is not consistent. This one isn't bad. I just find, I've said this 5,000 times, so the listeners will probably be like, we get it. But I find that we're missing someone or two people in this cast. Like every scene, every group scene, I'm always kind of like, isn't there someone else that should be here? And it's like, no, this is everyone. Like it just feels like we're missing like an energy there. Like I think we need another, or we need just one agent of chaos. We don't really have any chaos agents. Like Dorit tries to be, but she's not really. And Sutton isn't really either. She's just kind of mean.
I agree. Maybe Rinna? You want Rinna back?
I don't know that I want anyone back. Maybe it needs to be someone new who's willing to mix it up. But I really like Bose.
I do too.
I like that she is. It's nice to see women show up and kind of meet the show where it's at. It feels like she showed up. She's like, I'm filming the Real Houses of Beverly Hills. Let's go. Like she's in the drama.
Yes.
She's not taking it too seriously, but she's not letting like the hierarchy of the show bother her either. She's literally like, you're cold. I don't know what you want me to say, Kyle. How are you liking Beverly Hills?
I think that the season is solid. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh my gosh, just amazing, but it's not bad. It's solid. I think that I like Bose and Dorit's friendship. I know that is a bit controversial to say. A lot of people think that, Dorit's only using Bose, but I honestly feel like they have a genuine connection.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
You just can't fake or force chemistry. They really do just enjoy each other's company, and I love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton is getting on my nerves. She's wearing me thin.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the Augusta trip? Do you feel that was interesting or not needed?
We spent a little too much time on the Augusta trip. I didn't think that we needed
3 episodes.
3 episodes, right? They could have wrapped it up in 2, maybe one and a half.
I would say 1.5.
Yeah.
When I realized we were getting just an episode of them there, I was like, this is crazy. Like that middle episode, so not this past week's, but the week prior.
Yes.
it was pretty much 80% just them there, and then like there was like one scene of Dorit and Bose having coffee or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a
Um,
wild swing to make, right? Just from a
yeah.
production standpoint, to be like, we're gonna just show so much of this trip with three of the ladies.
And the trip wasn't that interesting.
I mean,
And
like there are dynamics about it that are interesting to me, but not in the context of this show. Like I do think her relationship with Reba is very interesting. Like, and the way Reba navigates this world is frightening to me. And there's a voyeuristic side of me that wants to just see how she navigates. Like part of me like would watch just a sit down of her and Sutton, like a Nest Cam hour long of her and Sutton just talking, because like I think that so much would just happen. I just think she's so mean.
yeah, I have some other words for Reba too.
Well, racist.
Yes.
Very.
The whole dynamic with her and Kyle, the way she introduced herself to Kyle,
Yeah.
to
Crazy.
Garcelle, that was a wild difference.
And
Wild.
Garcelle is handling this like she seems happy to be there, and I'm like, I don't know. Do you think Sutton watches this back and is like, this is bad, or probably
Well,
doesn't notice it?
she did an interview with Extra, and the interviewer asked her, what's been your reaction to the viewer's reaction about your mother? And so it's all that, my mom, she's an 82-year-old woman, and people need to be nice and be kind because she's just an old woman, and don't be so harsh. And I'm thinking, if your relative is not camera or TV ready, then don't bring them on the show, because people are going to have opinions and people are ruthless. People don't give a damn if you are 82, 8, 18. They're going to say something.
Yep.
So you knew that your mother has some, she has some tendencies, and you know that one of your best friends is a black woman. I don't know why you would bring Garcelle to Augusta. And you should have said, hey, Mom, the fans are ruthless. Please be on your best behavior. So I don't really want to hear it about, she's an old woman and, have some grace. No, we can address what we've seen on the TV. What your mom did, how your mom acted was not right.
No.
Garcelle brought her that beautiful scarf from Saks Fifth Ave, and she's like, oh, what's in here? A snake? Is a snake going to jump out and get me? Like, just say thank you and keep it moving. You said to Kyle, oh, so nice to meet you. You're so beautiful. Didn't say that to Garcelle.
Mm-mm.
Like, her demeanor was off, the energy was off, and I just feel like if you know that your family members might be racist or prejudiced or whatever have you, keep them off our screens, because I don't want to see Reba again.
No,
I'm putting that mildly.
I agree. When I say I want to watch her, I more just like I think their relationship is really fucked up, and the fucked up side of me wants to understand the layers of it, But, in the year of 2025, if you are a cis, straight, white person, like you need to constantly be. I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine who is a cis, straight woman. And I was like, a lot of places aren't as safe as you think they are, like for different people for different reasons. And for my experience being a gay man, like there are places where I'm good. Like I don't need to go there. Like I don't need to be around those types of people. And if you really are close and this is your best friend, like you should know better than to like subject them
Yes.
to environments that are going to make them feel uncomfortable.
Agreed.
It's like kind of the bare minimum in my mind. Like, especially because I feel like obviously our experiences are very different, but as like a gay man, like there are places where like I don't want to be around straight guys. Like I just don't want to do it. Like too many in an environment that feels unsafe. Like there are times where you don't feel like safe.
Yeah.
And like, but sometimes straight white people don't get why that could feel that way, but you should know. Like I feel like I know when I'm from Texas. Like there are people I know that I would never bring my friends around, family members, like things like that, because like it's not worth it. because they're nightmares and they're stuck in the past. And like, it's so weird. I had not thought about all of that until you just brought that up. Like, Sutton should not have subjected Garcelle to that environment.
Agreed. And I think that, I don't want to hear Sutton backpedaling and trying to make excuses for her mom. You shouldn't have put her on TV.
Yeah.
You know how your mom is. You know that the fans are ruthless. We're going to have opinions, the content creators. So if you want to protect your peace, you could have had this visit with your mother off camera.
Yep, I agree.
So.
Anyways, what's next?
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you watching Southern Charm at all? Speaking of race.
I can't get into Southern Charm, but I have been watching the last few episodes. Yeah. I love how Sienna is playing Shep.
That's what I want to talk about, because I bailed on this season pretty much. Like I watched like the first 2 episodes and I was like, this is just not happening. And then I was seeing people post about this like Shep situation. So I was like, okay, I got to see what's happening with Shep and this lady in the Bahamas, I believe. This text that he sent this woman on this vacation. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. So essentially, for the listeners, if you don't watch Southern Charm, Shep took the whole group, the whole cast, to the Bahamas to essentially like spend time with Sienna, the love of his life, who we all pretty much think that just found him on Raya and like said yes to dating him because he was on a TV show and she might want to be on that TV show, maybe. And so they get to the Bahamas and she essentially keeps like bailing on every meetup that they do. So they went to dinner one night and then she said that she didn't feel good. So she left dinner and went home. And then he texted her this. I found the text. He texted her the morning after and said this. She's clearly not into him, but like, no, he cannot see it. Good morning, Sienna. Listen, I love seeing you and no one else. No one else. No one. But I'm not going to try to convince someone they love me for 3 days, especially when I know how deep. Wait, is this the full thing? Wait a second. I feel like that's not the full thing. Oh, no, it is. It is. Okay. Yeah, I love seeing you and no one else. No one. But I'm not going to try to convince someone they love me for 3 days, especially when I know how deep down they do. Here's hoping you understand my feelings and exalt them.
He needs help.
Not exalt. I feel like exalt is only used in the church and nowhere else.
Yes.
I just don't feel this way ever. I know that you agree and feel a lot of what I do because I've heard it from your perfect little freckled lips. And those around us can say and think what they will, but we will have the last laugh and we'll have love, laughter, and everything that matters. Okay, my TED Talk is over. I don't know what that means.
He needs help. He's delusional. She does not like him. And did you see that a few days ago she was on TikTok blasting him about all this? And then she blasted Whitney because I guess Whitney lied on her and said that she wanted me. And she said, no, sir, you hit me up on Raya and I turned you down. So don't sit up here. And a quick side note, Whitney at his big grown age trying to be a player. I don't know what he's doing. It's embarrassing. And Miss Patricia is so rude. I will never see it for her. Ever. Okay? She is so rude in person.
Oh, really? You've met her?
At BravoCon. Oh my gosh. And at a few weeks ago, I was at the Watch What Crappens Awards. And we were backstage. Me and Kempire were backstage. And we were in like the little VIP lounge before the show started.
Yeah.
And she walked in. Didn't know eye contact, wouldn't say hello. I was like, okay, I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, she rude.
That is upsetting. I'm not even a fan of hers, really. It doesn't really surprise me, but it's just crazy to hear that.
Just another Reba.
She is Reba.
A more glamorous Reba, and I'm gonna keep it there.
Yes. Whitney, for me, it's crazy how much he gets around for how ugly he is. He is so ugly. So my partner Brian was watching, like, he was like in the kitchen and was watching me watch Southern Charm, this like most recent episode, and he was like, all of these guys like get that many girls, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, but you know what? I think he was like, but they're not attractive, and I was like, I know, but I think that tallness goes a long way in a lot of
Craig is
departments.
cute. I feel like
Craig
Craig
is
is the
cute. He was mostly talking about like Shep, Austin.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Craig is attractive, like conventionally. He's just. Wait, did you see the drama about maybe that he runs like that he has like a Finsta where he follows all these alt-right accounts? Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, this is all allegedly, but I saw that someone said something about how they found this like Craig Conover account that has like no followers but follows like 100 people or something and is private. Or it has like a couple followers and then follows like a good amount of people. And then the people that they follow are all of these like alt-right MAGA accounts.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if this is him, but it could all just be online fodder. But he did have Tommy Lauren on has had her on his IG live many a time, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't really either, but it's kind of crazy. That's, but also kind of upsetting, like that Paige would be with someone for so long if she knew that that's what he was like. I don't know. Makes your mind go places. But the Shep, but what Brian was saying, he was like, what I was saying to Brian was like, I think that tallness for like straight guys gets them in with some people, even though they're ugly. And I'm like, I want y'all, straight women of the world, you are beautiful and you deserve so much better than Whitney and Shep and Austin and Craig. Like, don't do it. Please, no. And Whitney, he just looks to me like he's lived way too hard.
Yeah. Oh, hard living. That's
Like,
a hard 48, whatever he is.
just, he's so lanky, but with that like alcohol belly.
Yes, yes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on Southern Charm, just shaming the men. That's why I watch it, I guess. Summer House, yeah, I'm having a good time with it. Oh wait, back to Southern Charm though. Did you see that Mike White said that for White Lotus,
Yep.
he asked the family, I forget the last name of the family.
Ratliff?
What is it?
Ratliff.
Yeah. The Ratliff family, that's like Parker Posey and Patrick Schwarzenegger, like that group. He asked them to watch Southern Charm for like reference for what the characters were supposed to be like. And when you get that in your mind, you immediately get it.
Yeah, because I thought about Miss Patricia with
And
Parker
T-Rav,
Posey's
it's very
character.
T-Rav coded, the main
Yep.
guy,
Very much so.
the dad.
Very much.
And their names too, because their names are so weird. It's like the little one's name is, oh, what is it? I need to look it up.
Is it
They're-
Lachlan?
Yeah, Lock-in. Yeah, I think
Lock-in?
Lock-in or something like that. Yeah, it's just like that Southern, like Shep and Whitney. Like these are just very peculiar white, rich,
Yes.
like Southern names. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I just thought that was so interesting because, but then when you think about it, like when you think about the early seasons of Southern Charm, like it was so scandalous. It's not really scandalous anymore, but like Thomas Ravenel being on that show was really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to run for Senate while he
And
was.
isn't he a governor or something?
No. He was a senator, and then
Okay.
I believe. Oh no. He was either a senator or a congressman, and then got. I think a congressman, and then he got kicked out because of drug use,
Okay.
and then he kept trying to run for the Senate seat against Lindsey Graham.
Oh, okay.
Because there's this, in a embarrassing admission, I did rewatch the first 3 seasons of Southern Charm, about 2 months ago. Just to, I've been looking for shows to make me feel something, and so
gotcha.
watching that, I just needed to lay my eyes on the scandal of the early days. So yeah, he was running for the Senate seat against Lindsey Graham, which is crazy to think that he was going to be like moderate against Lindsey Graham's crazy ass like GOP mindset. But I was looking up the names. Oh, Lachlan, Piper, Saxon are the kids'
Yes.
names of the Ratliff family. And then you have Victoria, and I forget what the dad's name is. But how are you liking White Lotus?
I'm loving it.
So good, right?
So good.
It makes you want. I want to go to Thailand.
Yeah, I do. I no, when I tell you, I cannot wait to like find out who all is behind the shootings. Like, I need to find out. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who did not watch it, but
Spoiler alert for the episode 2
yeah.
happening right now.
I think that what's his name? The actor who is playing like the balding guy who with the young English girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, Walter Goggins. But I don't know what his character's name is.
I believe that he was the one who was the robber when he stuck up the jewelry store. I think that's him. And like he's using that money, he's using that jewelry to like fly out to Bangkok. Remember, he wants to go to Bangkok to see the owner. He's like obsessed with that owner for some reason. I think that he robbed that was him behind that robbery.
Did not even think about that.
Yeah. I think that she was suspicious of like because she kept staring at the robber. Like, I know my head would have been down. She like is looking straight at him. And I'm like, I think that's him. I think that was her boyfriend stuck up the jewelry store.
Now, you know what's crazy about that too is that then I thought the scene that came right after that was so weird was how affectionate he was to her when like he came down to the hotel lobby.
Yes.
And like she was talking to the police and ran and gave him a big hug. He was like so affectionate with her, and he has not been at all.
Nope. And then
I
think it's him. Because at the end when she was like, oh, I could have died today. And he was like, no, you didn't. Like, he was so dismissive. I was like, yeah, because you did it and you weren't going to kill her. But I was like, that's why he was so dismissive. He was like, no, you weren't. You weren't going to die. Like, stop being dramatic. I think that.
Wait, that's a really good theory. I like that. Also, I feel like that snake bracelet is going to show up on one of these rich ladies. Like,
I think so.
Because like when you watch it, they made such a moment about them taking like that specific bracelet out of the glass.
Yep.
I feel like it's going to show up on like Parker Posey or something, and everyone's going to be like, where did you get that?
I can see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, this is a good little teaser. I'm on my live on Thursday. I'm going to be chatting about the first 2 episodes of White Lotus, as well as the most recent episodes of The Traitors, before I believe this will be our second to last Traitors episode on Thursday. So yeah, make sure to follow my new YouTube. So that's Dumpster Dive Podcasts with Tom Hamlet, live every Thursday at 7. There will still also be podcasts like the one you're listening to right now. The Brooke Ashley, this was wonderful.
This was amazing. Thank you so much, Tom, for having me.
Of course. And please, we got to get you on the YouTube Live sometime soon. And also we need to get a beverage out, a New York City haunt sometime soon.
Yes. Let's do it.
Let everyone know where they can follow you, listen to you, all that stuff.
You can find me on YouTube at The Brooke Ashley. I have my podcast, The Brooke Ashley, on Apple and Spotify. You can find me on Twitter at The Brooke Ash, Instagram at The Brooke Ashley _ and I'm also on Blue Sky as well at The Brooke Ashley on Blue Sky. So yeah, find me. I'm just running my mouth about these housewives, having a good old time doing it.
Saying something really, really opinionated and then sitting and smiling and looking at me like, what? Okay, Brooke, say bye to the listeners. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.